The Young Explorer. Chapter 1. Ben's Inheritance. "Hey, Ben, I've taken care of your father's property," said Uncle Job, sitting in his chair. "I've written down all the details on this piece of paper. The piece of land in Rockville, which is about 2 acres, sold for $75. The meadow brought in a nice sum of $150. And those 2 cows, how much money are we talking about in total, Uncle Job?" Ben interrupted, growing impatient with the details. "Aren't you going to let me read the whole list, nephew?" Uncle Job asked, looking over his glasses. "No, Uncle Job. I know you did your best for me, and we don't need to go through it all. How much is left after paying off all the expenses?" "That's what I was getting at, Ben. I believe it adds up to $365.19. That's $1 for each day of the year. Not bad, kid." "All right, Uncle Job," Ben replied, genuinely impressed. Not many 16-year-old boys would think that's a large sum of money. "You'll be pretty rich, at least for a boy," Uncle Job added. "It's more than I expected, Uncle. I want you to take $15.19. That will leave me with just $350. Why would I take any of your money, nephew? You went through a lot of trouble handling the belongings, and it took up a lot of your time." "My time isn't worth much, and as for the trouble, it's the least I can do for my brother's child. No, Ben, I won't take a penny. You'll need it all. But you yourself said it's a great amount for a boy, Uncle Job." "It certainly is, but it's all you've got. Most boys have fathers looking out for them, while you're on your own in this world." "Yeah, I'm alone in this world," said Ben with a sad sigh, his cheerful expression fading away. "But you have an uncle, young boy," Uncle Job continued, placing his hand gently on the boy's shoulder. "He may be poor, but he'll do whatever he can to be your friend and lend a helping hand." "I understand, Uncle Job. You've always been nice to me. And you can count on that, Ben. Listen, Ben, I have an idea for you. I don't know how you'll feel about it, but it's the best I could come up with." "What's the plan, Uncle Job?" "If you stick with me and help out at the store, I'll provide you with a basic place to stay and $50 per year for your clothes. Aunt Hannah and Cousin Jane are happy to have you as part of our family." "I appreciate it, Uncle Job," Ben said slowly. "No need to thank me, kid. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. It will work out well for both of us. You can save your money in the bank and let it accumulate until you turn 21. By then, you'll have around $500 in the bank. I'm grateful, Uncle Job, like I said before, but there's one thing that's holding me back." "What's the issue, Ben?" "I'm not interested in shoemaking, Uncle Job." "Maybe it's not exciting enough for you, Ben," his uncle said. "It's not about that, Uncle Job. I just don't feel like being stuck in a shop. Besides, it's not a steady job. Last year, you had periods of unemployment, about a third of the time." "That's true, Ben," Job admitted. "I have to admit, it's a significant downside. And it doesn't seem like it's going to improve. Last year was average." "It was better," Job agreed. "The year before, I was unemployed for 5 months. Well, Uncle Job, I want to be involved in something that keeps me working all year round. I feel the same way, Ben, but I can't think of anything for you except working on a farm. You're familiar with that kind of work, and I'm sure you could find a job quickly. Deacon Pitkin is looking for a young person, and he would be excited to have you." "He probably would," Ben chuckled. "Do you think I should go there?" "Well, there might be some disadvantages, but—" "You know I won't get enough food there, Uncle Job," Ben interrupted. "Deacon Pitkin is the stingiest person in town." "Don't judge too quickly, nephew." "I'm not joking. I know what's going on. I worked for Deacon Pitkin for a couple of days once. He paid me 10 cents a day and provided food, and let me tell you about that food. God, I left the table still hungry after every meal. And you know what? The deacon had the audacity to say later that I had a huge appetite. Mrs. Pitkin would slice a small pie into 8 tiny pieces, each like 2 bites, and when I asked for a second slice, she acted like it was a crime or something. She asked if I was allowed to have 2 slices back home. What did you say? Uncle Job asked, clearly amused. I told her yes, and that each slice at home was twice the size she served. That was pretty bold, Ben. Did she say anything back? She said I must be a greedy little guy and that boys always eat more than they should. No, Uncle Job, I don't want to work for Deacon Pitkin. So, do you have any plans, Ben? You don't like farming, and you don't like shoe shops, and that's pretty much all there is in Hampton. I'm not planning on staying in Hampton, Ben said calmly. Not planning on staying in Hampton? Uncle Job exclaimed, amazed. No, Uncle. There are many more places in the world than Hampton. So there is, Ben. Uncle Job replied, not concerned about proper grammar, as he didn't have much education. That's true, but you don't know anyone in those other places. Don't worry, I'll make friends quickly, Ben said, undisturbed by this thought. Where do you want to go? I want to go to California. Wow! You want to go to California? Job gasped. What made you think about that? A bunch of people are heading there, and there's a chance to get rich in the gold mines. But you're just a kid. I'm a pretty big kid, Uncle Job, Ben said confidently. And I'm strong. That you are, Ben, but it takes more than strength. What else, Uncle Job? It takes intelligence. Can't a kid be intelligent? Well, maybe some, but it's not common for young people to have a wise mindset. I understand, Uncle, but I can work hard even if I'm a kid. I know you're ready to work hard, Ben, but it will cost a lot of money to make the trip to California in the first place. I understand, it's going to cost $200. And that's more than half of what you have. It seems risky to spend such a large amount of money for a chance to earn some cash on the other side of the world when you can make a living right here and save all your money in the bank. In 5 years, it will only add up to $500, and if I go to California, I expect to be worth a whole lot more than that in less than 2 years. I'm worried you're aiming too high, Ben. You won't prevent me from going, Uncle Job? Ben asked anxiously. I won't directly stop you, but I'll do everything I can to convince you to give up. But if I'm determined to go, you'll let me, right, Uncle? I suppose I have to, Uncle Job said. A stubborn kid has to have his way. But don't blame me if things go wrong. No, I'll only blame myself. There's one thing you have to promise me, his uncle said. What is it? Take a week to think about whether you might be better off taking my advice and staying home. Yeah, Uncle, I promise. And really think it through, considering all the possibilities. Yes, Uncle. It's not wise to make a big move without careful consideration, Ben. You're right, Uncle. This conversation took place in Job Stanton's small shoe shop, just a short walk away from the modest little house where he had been living since he got married. They were interrupted by the entrance of a charming 14-year-old girl, who appeared at the shop door and called out, Dinner is ready, Dad. We're ready, Jenny, Ben immediately responded. You always have room for food, Ben, his cousin said with a smile. That's what Mrs. Pitkin used to think, Jenny. She used to watch every single bite I took.